Hi, so you're in the middle of your earthquake unit now, and it's time to do a little demonstration. We've been talking about stresses and how the stresses move those blocks, and depending on whether it's a convergent boundary, a divergent boundary, or a transform boundary, what type of stress is going to be on it. So today we're going to do a demonstration, and we're going to see if you can figure out what type of stress is happening on this. Okay? So you should have a worksheet in front of you, and we have our drawing here. We're going to make a labeled drawing, and so we're going to do it together. And if you have your teacher in front of you, you probably have a display that you can look at, but we're going to do the drawing together, and then we're going to take a look at our model, and we're going to work through the activity. So it says that in our drawing, we're going to have several different pieces. We're going to have a crank, and you'll see what a crank is in a minute, a rubber mat, a brick, a bungee cord, and a ruler. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw in the crank. Now, a crank is like on a fishing pole, like how you would crank to wind stuff up, or if you've got a boat on a boat trailer to help pull things on, it's that kind of crank. So we're going to draw it in here. Let's see. I think the red works really well for our drawing. So we're going to draw a circle on the end of the table, and it's got a handle on it, okay? And we're going to label this crank, okay? So that takes care of that. The next thing we're going to need is a brick. And so the brick is the material that we're going to be moving in our activity. And so we want to set the brick at the opposite end from the crank. So we're going to do it like this, and we're going to label it brick. Okay? Check mark. To connect our brick to the crank, we're going to use a bungee cord. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? All right. So we're going to label it like this, and we're going to label it bungee. No jumping, okay? Bungee cord. All right, take that off. And because the brick is going to be on the table, we don't want it to scratch the table. So we're going to put a rubber mat underneath it, and it's going to be hard to see it, so we're going to call it RM, or rubber mat. Okay? And the last thing we need, part of our activity is we want to find out if we turn the crank, how many cranks is it going to take to be able to move that brick using the bungee cord. So in order to find out how far it moves, we need to take a measurement on that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set a ruler up, starting at the beginning of the brick, and the ruler is going to go on the edge of the table. By the way, that shape that was in there is our table surface. So we've got our ruler here, our bungee cord, our crank. Let me check this off. And I think that looks like a good drawing. All right, now we're going to work on our hypothesis. Okay? Hope you got it, because it's going away now. So if we clear this off, you will see that we're going to work on our hypothesis. So the first thing we said we wanted to do is we're going to turn the crank, and we want to move the brick. So the crank is on one end, the brick's on the other. Again, we've done this before, the if, then, because statement, which is going to give us a good hypothesis. It's going to explain what we're doing, what we expect to happen, and the why of it. So if we, what are we going to do? We're going to turn the crank. So if we turn the crank, and what do we want to know? What would happen to the movement of the brick? So if we turn the crank, then, let's see, I'm going to write it here. Then, that's our second part, the brick will move, and yes, you should try to stay on the line, but because I'm trying to make it big enough for you, I'm a little bit over. Will move. We know the brick's going to move. That's what a crank does. But we want to know how it's going to move. Okay? So on there, you're going to explain how. Okay? Is it going to be smooth? Is it going to be jumpy? Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? Give me some kind of adjective. Nope, sorry, adverb. Give me an adverb. I don't want to know the color. I want to know how it's going to move. An adverb. Thank you for those of you who corrected me there. All right? So, how it's going to move, how, and then you need to explain why. Because, and then explain why you believe it's going to move that way. Okay? So if we turn the crank, then the brick will move. How is it going to move? Give me an adverb, because, and explain why. So take a moment to do that. Go ahead.